Okay, my name is Zakashi guys, and in this video here, we're going to be talking about what it takes to become the #1 ranked player in PvP. Now, if you are under a rock or you just don't really care, Legends every season has a PvP season, and if you get the most RP in that season, you can be the #1 player in the whole world for that Legend season. It's every 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, depending on what Legends are doing. And last season that went past, there were a lot of people actually gunning for that #1 spot. Two big YouTubers who you guys will most probably know, ZVG and Virgil, they were both going for it. Unfortunately, none of them got it, but an NA guy did get Tom FPS, he's a streamer on Twitch. But there were a lot of other people going for it, and JP players were just zooming. They had A-train speed, bro. They were moving crazy. The RP they were gaining on the last day, they literally just sped up, and pretty much a lot of people lost motivation. There's a lot of factors that go into being a #1 player. In that season, I came 8th. I was 8th in the world, and I wasn't even sweating out the season. I was playing a lot, I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't gunning for #1. I just played a lot more than I usually do, and I used the same team more consistently. I don't usually use the same team the whole season. I usually change up for showcases and whatnot. So for my top 10 placement in the last season, and that's the highest I've ever ranked because I actually tried to keep up with the top players, I want to make this video to give you guys some insight on what it takes. Some people think it's extremely easy, which I want to tell you it's not. Some people think it's extremely difficult, but I also want to say it's not. So we're going to talk about that in this video. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video though. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 40,000 subscribers. All my social media links are going to be on the bottom of the screen. This is the YouTube channel. We've got a Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. So make sure to check me out, all of those. I also want to say that I stream every single day. Even with this PvP grind, I was streaming every single day, sometimes twice a day, literally just to gain the RP. It was a good time. A lot of people coming through, watching the other streamers and YouTubers that I mentioned literally grind as well. It was actually really fun, and the community was coming actually together pretty neatly. So I'm just inviting you to be a part of that experience if it was to ever happen again. But even just for regular streams, like I said, I stream every single day. So come through and enjoy the vibe, man. Now, without further ado, I've held you guys up a bit too long. Let's actually get into this video now. Now, like I said, I told you last season I came in the top 10 placing at 8th. But just for the guys that don't know, if you want to actually check what's going on in the PvP season, and it's actually a good way of seeing like what teams people are using as well. You press the ranking section in the PvP section, and you have this here which you can see the top in the first page is top 30 immediately, effective immediately. You can also press your rank, and then you can show where you are. At the moment I'm 1405th, and then you can also check your group ranking, of course. And then if you go into the top rankers, so past top rankers, or you can just check the last season, you can go to last season here, and then you can see how the season ended. So the last season we're talking about is the superhero showdown. The universe's strongest superhero is you, Season 2 though. And #1, like I said, Tom FPS. You can see ZVG was grinding. He ended up at 3rd. Virgil there at 7th, and I came 8th. And then there was a lot of other people also competing. Mitsuya, a famous name as well. And literally everybody was just playing non-stop for the most part, more than like 6 hours a day. So the first thing I want to mention is that grinding for #1 takes a lot of your time. It's not even anything else more than this. Literally, time. You need to be able to sit there at least 8 hours is probably too small as well. I'm talking you might be playing 10 hours a day, literally just playing for the #1 spot, just chilling there. Which is why most people that go for #1 actually are streamers, or they stream in some way, shape or form, or maybe they got friends around. If you're going to be sitting in a Discord call for hours, then it'd make it much easier than if you were just sitting in the dark like those 3 GT mains in the corner. You know what I'm saying? It makes it a lot easier, but it's a lot of your time. ZVG was literally sitting there every single day for 8 hours minimum playing on Twitch. And unfortunately, he didn't even hit first from the first day he was grinding. Virgil, I believe he started a few days, like heavily started a few days later, and he ended up in 7th. I literally started in like the second week, and I was just playing every single day, and I caught up to the top 10. So it kind of shows how your time, how you allocate it works. Especially when you're playing catch up, it's a lot easier to catch up because there's already a lot of people above you. So you'll be gaining a lot of RP. But once you start closing the gap, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. The guys that are already high up earn less RP for their wins, but if they lose a large amount. So the first thing I want to just mention is that you have to like work your time very well, and you're going to be using a lot of it. Now that I've talked about the fact that you need time, you also need a good team. So even though you have the time, and a lot of people do have the time, you need to have a team that's actually going to help you get to the top ranks. Now, unfortunately, in this PvP season, well, the one that we just passed, everybody's using the same team. There's no variation. Literally, you can see Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan, Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan, Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan. I'm using USG because I'm different. I want to be different. Everybody wearing all black. Bro, I'm wearing navy because I want to be different, bro. I'm different. Don't worry about me, though. Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan, Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan, Pan, Future Han, Beast Gohan, bro, it's the same thing every single game. So, hey, cooler user. But you can see for the most part, everybody's using the most dominant team. So you should look around and see what other people are using. Not to say that you don't have to pick your own team. I'm just saying it's a lot more efficient to just use the same team everybody's using, because you'd actually be competing with the most likely best team. Now, I'm only using USG because he has endurance for 30 time counts after his ult. But it's not about my team. It's just the simple fact that you need a solid team. If you look at also the star level of my team, this team is still getting shredded, even though everybody's at 14 stars minus Beast Goal and he's at 13. If we look at the GodTube games, we can look at the star levels, which is actually a big thing as well. You can see most people have a 14 star Pan, 14 star Future Hans, if not they're higher than 9 at least, and then everybody else, besides maybe Beast Gohan, because he's literally the main character in the game, he's number 1, you don't necessarily need him 14 stars, but everybody's got a high star team in all shapes. These are all the godly players. And if you think you're going to be able to compete if you don't have a high star team, the odds are you're not. And even if you do, it'd be much easier for you to just take an L, and that will just make all your progress go to waste, which I don't advise. So definitely try to stack up a good team. It's the main thing that you need outside of the amount of time you need. Number 2, I definitely say it's a good team. So yeah, make sure you have a solid team before even considering it. Now, with that being said, you don't necessarily need to be the best player. And I want to point out that the best player usually isn't the number 1 player. That's a very big thing you should know. Because you'd be thinking that, oh, if I'm better than X person at the game, I'm 100% going to get number 1. But that isn't how it works. Being number 1 revolves around consistency. Anybody who thinks otherwise is actually insane. You have to be a very good player though, not a bad player. You can't be a bad player and hit number 1. You have to be still a good player, but you don't have to be the best player. You just need to be extremely consistent and win games. Just because you beat someone doesn't necessarily outright mean you're better than that player. If we look at the rankers, for comparison's sake, just so I can just look at it. If we look at the past seasons and whatnot, it's going to take forever to load. I hate when it does this. Come on, Legends, man. Here we go. If we go past top rankers, we can see that Tom FPS literally was the number 1 player. And guys in my stream know this, but literally, say reset was at 12, right? At 10:30, I beat him in a match. I swear to God, the footage is there on YouTube. But he still was able to just be hella consistent and get to that top spot. Right 2 times, there's a lot of people, probably you watching this video, you might have beat him. But he's extremely consistent and was able to get the RP over everybody else. JP players do be good at the game, I'm not going to lie. But you can see it requires a lot of consistency more than anything else. It's not always, damn, he got 2 back-to-back. It's not always the best player that gets it, and a lot of people just don't want to commit all the time. So as long as you can be consistent with alongside the other factors, so you have a lot of time, you're going to have a good team, and then you're going to be consistent alongside those other 2 factors, then you'd surely be able to actually hit at least the top 10. I told you I was playing casually, and I hit 8th spot out of the top of the whole world, literally. Just off playing a lot, and in my games I was extremely consistent. I do also have a good team, so I'm hitting all the points. If I sweated it out, who knows, I could have been the number 1 player. But I wasn't gunning for it, like I said. Not to say that I can, but it is a possibility for me given that I have all the 3 factors that I just mentioned. With those things being said, will I ever go for number 1? I'll eventually go for number 1. I think I will actually aim for it. With this season, hitting 8th place, it was kind of like a wake-up call, and seeing that ZVG grinded all the time and he still didn't win, I just took down some mental notes, and I'm like, if I'm ever gonna go for it, I know how I'd go about it, and I feel like it's very possible for me given the fact that I hit 8th and I was playing quite casually. I was playing a lot but casually, and I feel like if I had the mentality to actually play. Like I came in knowing, yeah, I'm gonna sweat this out for hours and I know what I want. I had the goal in mind. Then there could have been a different result, and maybe in a different season it's very likely for me to do so, especially because I make content anyways, so I'm gonna actually have a high star team at pretty much every point in the game, unless it's just a character I don't care about, then I wouldn't go for it then. But for me, I do think it's possible. If I ever go for it, I'll probably announce it beforehand, but there will be a lot of pressure and a lot on the line, considering I'll be using a lot of my time. So yeah, that's probably the big question people had given that I'm making this video, but there'll probably be a time where I go for this. Maybe Ultra VV, I don't know, but hey, just want to put that out there. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know if you are considering going for it yourself. There's a lot of people that grind up to the godly ranks, but do you think you could make it even to the top 5 spot? There's a lot to actually consider, but let me know in the comment section if you've ever considered it. Let me know the highest rank you've also gotten ever in PvP. So for me, it would be 8th. The highest I ever got is 8th. Out of the whole world. What's the highest you've actually landed? And yeah, man, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it was insightful, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it takes to be #1. People often think it's just the best player, but it's definitely not. There's a lot of other factors outside of that. Even things like the Q alone, that is an RNG factor that you can't actually account for. A lot of people, ZVG, literally got destroyed by the fact that you can't find games. When you're that high up, the queue doesn't want to queue you up with players. I'm in the UK. I could barely queue with some Americans. Who was I speaking to? I was speaking to Dugo. A lot of people, you guys probably watch him in Virgil's chat, and I've never queued him in my life. But we both grind up and probably play at the same time. So it doesn't make sense why I've never been able to find him. Like it's a lot of time RNG, just the fact you can't queue people. So yeah. It might not be your fault, but with the 3 points I mentioned in the video, I feel like those are big things to consider, and it clears up a lot of misconceptions, especially because I've actually been one of those players. I'm 22-time godly. I literally got to the top 10 ranks, and I was able to actually see it for myself. Hopefully you guys are going... Bro, I was going to do an intro. Thank you guys for watching. Press the subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 40,000 subscribers. All my social media links going to be in the bottom of the screen. It's the YouTube channel. We've got a Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. I'm going to leave it like that, though, guys. Maybe one day I'll go for it. Tap into the streams. Stream every day, like I said at the start of the video. My name is Zakashi, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man.